What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and apparently rules for thee but not for me extends into the media, where basically for the last 4 years it's been not only popularized but megaphoned, shared out is the TDS. Really, you have all these Hollywood weirdos like De Niro and stuff like that going on stage and be like, F Donald Trump, during then Donald Trump's presidency. And now apparently somebody says, let's go Brandon, to Joe Biden. And it's literally the worst thing ever. This dad, during a telephone call with Joe Biden, a happy, Santa Christmas celebration, I guess the NORAD tracking of Santa, apparently decided to say, let's go Brandon. And the media is treating him worse than the guy who was driving that red SUV right up the road. You can see when we do it, here's the Associated Press. Robert De Niro fires up the Tony Awards crowd when he drops a couple of bleeped F words in relation to Trump. Also from the Associated Press, President Biden said he agreed when a father capped off an otherwise polite conversation by wishing him a happy holidays and let's go Brandon. Here's the AP story on how the phrase has become used by conservatives as a stand-in for a vulgar epithet. Whoa! I mean, mean words. Who would have thought, the leader of the free world, the president of the United States, the laughing stock, the most powerful man in the world, can't handle a few mean words. The entirety of the media has gone after this man, doxing him and leading to threats. After 4 years of shouting F Trump at the former president, the radical left would like to have us all know now that telling Joe Biden, let's go Brandon, is not acceptable. That's the message to an Oregon dad who pranked the president during Christmas Eve event for NORAD's annual tracking of Santa Claus, where he actually tricked Joe Biden into saying, let's go Brandon, I agree. Merry Christmas and let's go Brandon, the dad said as he signed off. Let's go Brandon, I agree, Biden said without missing a beat. He probably didn't have any idea what he was saying. Can we stop electing people who are like 1,000 years old, please? I mean, I'm not saying, the next president needs to be in their 20s, but, can we have somebody who's, at least mentally all there? The dad who made the call was originally identified to be one Jared from Oregon. The left's media machine kicked into high gear and they were soon able to dox the dad who pranked their senile dear leader. Jared Schmeck, father of 4 in Oregon, now has been brought low in a struggle session with the media. He says what his call was a lighthearted gag made in jest. A Central Point father of 4 wished President Joe Biden and the First Lady a wonderful Christmas and added let's go Brandon at the end of the live stream Santa tracker call, told the Oregonian Live that he didn't intend his parting message to be vulgar, a local media report said. Well, I mean, he did obviously intend to say what he said, but I mean, it's pretty it's pretty tame compared to seeing Kathy Griffin with a severed head or De Niro dropping F words and things like that. At the end of the day, I have nothing against Mr. Biden, but I'm frustrated because I think he can be doing a better job. Jared Schmeck said, I mean no disrespect to him. Yes, you do. I mean, come on, you said it. Let's own it. The media noted that he works for an electric company. Of course, they had to find out where he worked. And previously Medford police officer for 6 years until he resigned in 2018. All this is important stuff. We don't know what happened in Las Vegas, but sure, we know everything it is about this guy that said, let's go Brandon. The Oregonian report takes pains to say that he didn't think of himself as a Trumper, but describes himself as a free-thinking American and follower of Jesus. The backstory of the dad's a legendary prank call bears repeating. I mean, sure. That's right. He has a son named Hunter. Classic. Sadly, Jared, a father of 4, told the Oregonian on Saturday that he is being attacked for utilizing my freedom of speech and is now receiving threatening phone calls. Twitter also allowed his full name, to trend for hours on Sunday. Pathetic, by the way. Absolutely pathetic. So these journals dox the guy, get his full name. Twitter, by the way, the trending part of Twitter, that's manual. right? So the fact that his full name appeared on the Twitter trending tab, that was on purpose. Some loser at Twitter, typed that in or moved it over there or whatever the case may be. Twitter users noted the left's hypocrisy for going after Schmeck. Here's Jewish deplorable. We're currently at step one. Step one, CNN and MSNBC. Let's go Brandon dad. Step two, dad is fired. Family into hiding. Step three, FBI raid. IRS investigates. Step four, dad loses custody. Step five, gulag. You see here, Brian Stelter, who's 35 years old, the reporter who landed the story behind the story. This is a reporter. This is something our media, the mainstream media, needs to be worried about. Tim Young writes, the media has spent more time investigating the man who told Biden, let's go Brandon, than the BLM guy who drove his SUV into the Christmas parade. Yeah, that's true. The Democrats spent Christmas Day doxing the father who got Biden to say, let's go Brandon. I agree. It's not Jared's fault that the occupant of the Oval Office is a dementia-ridden fool. Dana Loesch writing, it's the same people who said F Trump and they were fine with it at award shows for years that are mad at some rando pranked the guy who said the entire lockdown was the uninjected's fault. Man, these people are never not the collective victim. I mean, it's insane. The fact that they let this guy's name trend on Twitter, the fact that the mainstream media decided to ascend upon him is actually appalling. If you look at some of the other replies here too, or some of the other stuff, CNN White House correspondent Jeremy Diamond tweeted, if you think it's appropriate to tell anyone really, to go F themselves after they give your kids the time of day on Christmas Eve, it says a lot more about your personal character than anything else. Oh, heavens to Betsy. I mean, look, there is a certain level of respect that people should have between each other. And as a man, there's certain things that, one man should have, you got to respect that other man. Even if you don't, like, if I didn't like the president, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be giving Joe Biden my time on Christmas Eve if I was spending it with my family. That's not even, remotely it's something that I would want to do. But that's what he did. And so he said, let's go, Brandon. Big deal. The fact that the media is completely losing their mind over it is actually quite appalling. You see, Edward Isaac Dovier says, consider the mentality here of the father whose child is excited to talk about Santa Claus and then also gets to talk to the president and first lady, but he waits till the end of the call to sneak in a cutesy way of flipping off the president on Christmas Eve. So? During the on-air segment, the Atlantic's Ron Brownstein went as far as to claim as the phrase was a form of insurrection. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously, are you kidding me with this overreaction? Somehow the guy's a true victim and Biden was somehow in the wrong, as the guy gets on the phone to troll him on Christmas Eve after Biden was kind to the guy. Look, nobody wants a phone call from Joe Biden, period. But the entire media machine after it, these same people would be, if it was Trump, by the way, and somebody said like F Trump, they would be talking about how it was an epic own. But because it's Joe Biden, they're like completely beside themselves and trying to stretch and twist and turn their way, or this all into this whole, we've got to have some semblance of decorum, people. The contrast with the media's previous response to several instances of people publicly disparaging former President Trump or yelling F Donald Trump in public, some examples of the vulgarity were not only excused by media outlets, but promoted and celebrated. The Washington Post defended comedian Kathy Griffin after she infamously posed with the head. That same year, the New York Times published a deletion fantasy about Trump. Wide variety, to me, do I think it's petty? Yeah, of course. But what's more pathetic is seeing the entire media machine going after this guy, doxing him, and then these people that are sending threats, like, grow up. Joe Biden doesn't care about you. And by the same, the same manner, Donald Trump doesn't care about you either. So don't get yourself locked up trying to simp for them. It's pathetic. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.